Hello guys, welcome back to our anime explainer. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel, thank you. Today is explanation of upcoming episode of Battle Through the Heavens based on novel. So let's start. Holy Pill City, haha. The Holy Pill City is the location of the Pill Tower's headquarters. It is also called Pill City. Yizhong smiled and explained. The selection of the Pill Gathering is meant to eliminate some of those who are there only to make up the numbers. After all, the Pill Gathering is the grandest alchemist gathering across the continent. The alchemists without skill do not have the qualification to participate in it. Those participants of the Pill Gathering will require a recommendation letter first. This is not much of a problem. It is merely a formality. When the time comes, the old me will prepare one for Mr. Xiao Yan. My Yi clan might be declining, but it still possesses the qualification to write this letter of recommendation. Other than the extremely harsh requirement on one's ability, the other aspects of the Pill Gathering are quite alright. There is also quite a loose requirement when it came to the participant's age. As long as one is not an old demon who is renowned across the continent, everyone else can participate. Of course, everyone can only participate in the Pill Gathering once in their lifetime. If one were to participate in it this time around, one would no longer have the qualification to participate the next time around. There is no restriction on age. Isn't this a little unfair to some of the younger alchemists? Xiao Yan was involuntarily startled when he heard this. He knit his brows as he commented, "Ha, where is there absolute fairness in this world?" Moreover, most of those who have the confidence to come and participate in the Pill Gathering possess some talent. All of them thinks that they are of sufficient weight. Yizhong shook his head and laughed. The selection of the Pill Gathering is separated into the heaven, earth, and man levels. In other words, it is equivalent to 3 elimination rounds. Only those who can last through the heaven elimination round and remain behind possess the qualification to participate in the final competition, heaven, earth, and man levels. Xiao Yang involuntarily lifted his eyebrows. It was indeed worthy of being the grandest alchemist gathering. Just the selection alone was already this complicated. Ha, it is indeed quite troublesome. Those who wish to participate in the Pill Gathering will mostly arrive at the Holy Pill City around 2 to 3 months ahead of time. In other words, Mr. Xiao Yang only has 4 months of preparation time. Yizhong grinned and nodded. 4 months. Xiao Yang knit his brows slightly upon hearing this. Only now did he sense just how pressed for time he was. He needed to obtain the 3,000 burning flames. Before that, however, he had to obtain a top 10 spot in the Pill Gathering. Otherwise, everything else would just be empty talk. Xiao Yang had also thought of forcefully taking it. However, the Pill Tower was a top faction in the Central Plains region. Forget about the matter of him not having the strength to forcefully snatch it. Even if he managed to successfully snatch it, the party he would offend would be all the alchemists in the Central Plains region. He would become the common enemy of all alchemists. Xiao Yang felt his head become numb by just thinking about it. Moreover, the frightening aspect of the Pill Tower was not its surface strength, but its terrifying summoning ability. Xiao Yang had experienced the ability of a high-tier alchemist to gather people. Moreover, when this number was magnified a countless number of times, that summoning ability would likely be extremely difficult to be described by the word frightening. Mr. Xiao, it is not considered especially difficult in order to enter a Pill Tower Elder's seat. Of course, this is speaking in relative terms. At the very least, my current clan is unable to meet that criteria. Yizhong rubbed his hands and sighed. There are a total of 5 great clans within the Pill region. These 5 great clans have existed since long ago. During that time long ago, the clan heads, who had established the 5 great clans, were all the core members of the Pill Tower. According to the rules, as long as the 5 great clans are able to meet some requirements in the future, they will be able to occupy a seat in the Pill Tower Elder seats. The 5 great clans all have extremely large forces. With the huge name of the Pill Tower, they can basically roam this Pill region without restriction. Even factions like the Ice River Valley see them have to be courteous to these clans. The current Yi clan is not among this list. Speaking here, Yizhong's face was quite dark. Every once in a while, the Pill Tower will perform an assessment of the 5 great clans. Only those who pass the test are able to maintain a spot among the elder seats. What kind of assessment? Xiao Yang narrowed his eyes and softly asked. The Pill Tower attaches much importance to the grooming of the younger generation. The target of the test is naturally members of the younger generation. Yizhong glanced at Xinlan beside him and softly sighed. The quality of the Yi clan is declining with each subsequent generation. It appears as though all the pill refining talent has gradually been milled away. It is even inferior to some outside alchemists. Xinlan's talent is already considered quite good among this batch of younger generation. However, she has only reached the level of a Tier 5 alchemist. Xinlan's pretty face was filled with an ashamed expression upon seeing Yi Zhong's gaze. During every test, the 5 great clans must send out a member of the younger generation to take the test of the pill tower. If they pass the test, they will be able to maintain their seat. However, if they fail to pass the test, things will become a little risky. Yi Zhong bitterly laughed. My Yi clan has already failed twice. If we fail again this time around, not only will we completely lose the qualification to enter the Pill Tower Elder's seat, but we will also be eliminated from the 5 great clans. The 5 great clans is a shortcut to entering the upper echelons of the Pill Tower. Therefore, a countless number of eyes are watching us. Once our Yi clan is eliminated, those fellows eyeing us up will immediately charge forward. Is the test extremely harsh? Xiao Yang softly asked. Yi Zhong nodded and sighed. The lowest qualification to participate in this kind of test is that the alchemist must reach the 6th tier. If one wishes to pass it, one must reach the level of a Tier 7 alchemist in order to do so. Xiao Yang nodded after hearing this. He slowly replied, Tier 7 is not a very hard requirement. These old bones of mine have only reached this level after training for so many years. With Mr. Xiao Yang's talent, it is naturally not difficult. However, which of the younger members of my Yi clan can reach this stage? Yi Zhong bitterly laughed as he said, moreover, the worst thing is that the Yi clan has already failed twice. During this test, we must enter the top 3 among those who take it in order for us to be considered to have passed. Top 3. Xiao Yang was startled. The other 4 great clans are growing more than us. There are also many talented individuals within the clan. Although they might not dispatch the elites among their younger generation to participate, it might still be extremely difficult for our Yi clan to obtain the top 3 even if we really have a young Tier 7 alchemist. Yi Zhong sighed. Big brother Xiao. Please help the Yi clan this once. Xinlan is willing to do anything for you as long as the Yi clan is alright. Xinlan beside Xiao Yang suddenly knelt down, while Xiao Yang was deep in thought. She spoke in a desolate manner. Xiao Yang's expression drastically changed when Xinlan knelt down. He waved his sleeves and a gentle strength forcefully lifted Xinlan up. That stubborn girl had just been lifted to her feet when she began to kneel again. The little fairy doctor by her side could not help but helplessly shake her head upon seeing this. She extended her hand and stopped Xinlan. It is not as though you do not know Xiao Yang's character. He will naturally not wash his hands after making a promise to you. By kneeling like this, you will only irritate him. The little fairy doctor softly explained, after seeing Xinlan's pretty red eyes. Xiao Yang sighed. His gaze swung to the pleading Yi Zhong as he said in a deep voice, forget it, we will do as you say. However, I must say this beforehand. You better not think of using this son-in-law tactic to get me to stay in the Yi clan. If you intend to pull me into your little scheme, you should not blame me for not giving you any face, Mr. Xiao Yang. You can rest assured that Yi Zhong is not such a shameless person. Yi Zhong's face was immediately filled with wild joy when he heard Xiao Yang accept. His appearance of having found hope in despair caused his old heart to continuously beat. The little fairy doctor, by the side, also sighed in relief. She turned her eyes only to see Xinlan's pretty face become a little unnatural. She was immediately startled and asked, he said, son-in-law. The female party is not you, is it? Xiao Yang's body stiffened upon hearing this. He quickly turned his head in surprise and looked at the flushed red, pretty face of Xinlan. He bitterly laughed with some embarrassment. This old fellow is not so cruel, is he? Xinlan's face revealed a forced smile. She softly replied, Big brother Xiao Yang need not be worried. Grandfather has said that this is only a formality. Big brother Xiao Yang will definitely be a top-level being in the Do Chi continent in the future. It is not as though Xinlan is a girl who doesn't know her limits. The little fairy doctor, by the side, watched the blue-clothed girl's face become much redder after the girl finished speaking. She involuntarily glared at Xiao Yang. The words this fellow had spoken were really too hurtful. Xiao Yang was a little embarrassed. If Xinlan had not informed him about the 3,000 burning flames, it was likely that he would still be randomly looking for one at this moment. Moreover, Xinlan had been following him, and had been a great help after he had arrived in the pill region without even uttering a single complaint. All she had done was enough to get Xiao Yang to treat her as a friend. Otherwise, who would bother with this whatever Yi clan? I will leave this matter to Elder Yizhong and will do my best to cooperate with you. Xiao Yang bitterly laughed. He turned his head, ruthlessly cut Yizhong with his eyes and spoke. Yizhong dryly laughed, but he did not dare to touch Xiao Yang's anger. He said, the test this time around will begin in 2 months' time. Therefore we must leave the Holy Pill City 2 months from now. If Mr. Xiao Yang requires any medicinal ingredient during this period of time, please feel free to inform the old me. The Yi clan will help prepare everything for you. 2 months. So soon. Xiao Yang was immediately startled upon hearing this. Was this time frame not a little too rushed? Yizhong bitterly smiled and nodded. If they weren't so pressed for time, he would not need to humbly beg a member of the younger generation, even if this younger generation's pill refinement skill was not inferior to him. 2 months it will be then. Xiao Yang could only nod his head once he understood the situation. Coincidentally, Xiao Yang was also extremely curious about the pill tower. After all, it was basically the holy ground in the hearts of all alchemists on the continent. Yizhong sighed in relief after hearing Xiao Yang voice no objections. After discussing some of the matters regarding the pill gathering with Xiao Yang, he pulled the red-eyed Xinlan with him as he withdrew from the courtyard. Xiao Yang stood outside of the stone pavilion and watched the distant back of Yizhong. There was some anticipation vaguely leaping within his dark black eyes. The Holy Pill City, just how grand would this legendary alchemist's holy ground be? With the Yi clan supporting Xiao Yang with its entire strength, he was saved the trouble of having to go around in search of medicinal ingredients himself. The only thing he needed to do was refine the medicinal pills. Regardless of whether the refinement succeeded or failed, he was, at the very least, gaining some experience from the process. This kind of experience was the unique and personal treasure of an alchemist. Following the accumulation of experience, it would sooner or later erupt and bring about a great change. Not a single one of those Grandmaster-level alchemists on the continent discussed things. All of them, without exception, possessed rich experience that an ordinary person would have difficulty matching. Talent might be important in the alchemist world, but experience was also something that one must not lack. Regardless of how Xiao Yang was pressed for time during these years, he had never stopped refining pills. Moreover, the rich medicinal formulae that Yao Lao had left him helped pave a smooth path. This had enabled him to advance further than an ordinary alchemist given the same amount of time. Of course, Xiao Yang naturally understood that he was definitely not the only alchemist in the entire continent who possessed such outstanding talent. There were some who had a much better start than him. It was definitely not a simple thing to surpass those people during the gathering. Therefore, Xiao Yang needed to put in a great amount of effort during the 2 months that remained, placing all of his attention on the refinement of pills. A high temperature spread through a spacious chamber, causing the chamber to turn into something like an oven. Hot air curled and rose. If an ordinary person were to remain in this place for 10 minutes, it was likely that that person would flee after finding it difficult to breathe. The secret chamber was built using a kind of crimson stone. This kind of stone was called magma rock, and was obtained from a volcano. Not only was it hard, but it also possessed the unique effect of retaining heat. It was specially used to build some pill refinement rooms, and its effect was spectacular. There was not the slightest gap within the chamber. At a glance, it appeared as though it was made by someone who had emptied the interior of an extremely large magma rock. At this moment, quite a number of jade boxes were piled within this chamber. A faint, dense medicinal ingredient fragrance wafted out of them. After being baked by the surrounding high temperature, the scent became much denser. During this half a month, Xiao Yang had never stepped out of this chamber. There would naturally be someone who would personally deliver the medicinal ingredients after he had used all of them up. All of his focus was on pill refinement. After forgetting to rest or eat during this period of time, Xiao Yang naturally benefited. He had successfully refined quite a number of medicinal pills at the Tier 7 low-grade level, and he had even successfully refined a Tier 7 middle-grade medicinal pill. After this crazy pill refinement, Xiao Yang could clearly sense how his medicinal refinement skill had grown. Of course, Xiao Yang's pill refinement talent was something that even Yao Lao could not deny. Before Yao Lao had left, Xiao Yang could, at the very most, refine a Tier 5 medicinal pill. Now, he was able to refine a Tier 7 medicinal pill because of his hard work. Although Xiao Yang's hard work was a large factor, his talent was also of critical importance. However, the 20-plus days of crazy pill refining caused Xiao Yang to feel a little stunned. He had discovered the dou qi within his body growing at a slow pace. Only after some thought did he come to a sudden understanding. Pill refinement was a task that exhausted the person doing it. This kind of exhaustion was a burden on one's dou qi and mental strength. Once the dou qi within Xiao Yang's body was exhausted during this period of time, he would immediately enter his training mode. After he recovered his dou qi, he would continue the refinement. With this kind of exhaustion and replenishment, it was not surprising that his dou qi was growing. Xiao Yang gradually recovered some dou qi after sitting on the stone platform. Only then did he exhale a breath of air. He softly muttered to himself, with my current pill refinement skill, the success rate of refining a Tier 7 low-grade medicinal pill is already quite high. If it's a Tier 7 middle-grade medicinal pill, the success rate is a little lower, but it is still passable. Naturally, it is already much better than some ordinary Tier 7 alchemists. However, this is insufficient. If Xiao Yang wanted to stand out in an alchemist gathering of this level and enter the top 10, it was obvious that it would be difficult to rely on a Tier 7 middle-grade medicinal pill. According to Xiao Yang's guess, he would, at the very least, need to feel confident when refining a Tier 7 high-grade medicinal pill in order to be assured that he could enter the top 10, Tier 7 high-grade. Xiao Yang slowly tightened his fist. A ruthless expression flashed across his eyes. It was only a high-grade Tier 7. He did not believe he could not do it. Xiao Yang's pill refinement retreat lasted for an entire month. During this month, he did not take a single step out of the pill refinement room. What he had obtained was also quite dazzling. The number of Tier 7 low-grade and middle-grade medicinal pills that he had successfully refined had continued to increase. Xiao Yang had even gradually become adept at refining Tier 7 high-grade medicinal pills after many failures. From the looks of it, a Tier 7 high-grade medicinal pill may appear if he was feeling well. A hurried bell sound was suddenly emitted from outside the pill refinement room after a month of bitter training. Xiao Yang's pill refinement state was broken by this sudden bell. After being slightly startled, his expression began to change a little. He knew that this bell was the emergency call of the Yi clan. Something has happened to the Yi clan. Xiao Yang tightly knit his brows. He swiftly got up and opened the door to the pill refinement room. Now that he had already made a promise to the Yi clan, Xiao Yang naturally could not simply stand idly by the side if something happened to them during this period of time. Moreover, he had also exhausted a large portion of the Yi clan's collection and felt a little bad. He knew that the Yi clan had placed all of their hopes on him. Xiao Yang had just exited the pill refinement room when he saw the little fairy doctor outside. He quickly walked to her and frowned as he asked, "What has happened?" The little fairy doctor spread her hands as she glanced at the frowning Xiao Yang. She replied, "The Yi clan has encountered some trouble. There is still someone who dares to find trouble the Yi clan." Xiao Yang's eyes swept around him and discovered that the Yi clan's guards, who were originally here, had already left. Clearly, the trouble this time around was not ordinary. However, the thing that caused Xiao Yang to feel a little strange was that there were very few people who dared to find trouble with the Yi clan after the big battle back then. Just who had come this time around? The ones who have come this time around are not an ordinary faction. The little fairy doctor appeared to understand what Xiao Yang was thinking when she glanced at him. She laughed. "Cao clan, one of the 5 great clans of the Pill region. Cao clan." Xiao Yang knit his brows. He had naturally heard of the 5 great clans of the Pill region. This Cao clan was one of them. Of course, this clan could not be compared with the declining Yi clan. There seemed to be a never-ending number of talented alchemists in that clan. This caused the reputation of the Cao clan to grow greater. Other than the Dan clan, which kept an extremely low profile, it was likely that the Cao clan was the strongest among the 5 great clans. Moreover, the Cao clan was considered part of the upper echelons of the Pill Tower. With this backing, even a faction like the Ice River Valley would not dare to easily offend them. After all, everyone in the Central Plains knew about the Pill Tower's ability. That was why the Cao clan was on the rise. The influence of the Pill region was expanding. Compared to the declining Yi clan, one could be considered in the sky while the other was on the ground. Why have they come to find trouble with the Yi clan? Xiao Yang mused. He did not expect the Cao clan to come and interfere. It seems to be because of a marriage related to Xinlan. Back then, when Yizhong and the others were in a desperate situation, they had planned to get Xinlan to marry into the Cao clan. Thus, the Cao clan would be able to help them pass the test. However, the Yi clan would end up being swallowed by the Cao clan. Therefore, the Yi clan gave up on this marriage after you arrived. Who would expect the Cao clan to suddenly come and insist on bringing Xinlan away? The little fairy doctor explained the situation. Xiao Yang's expression slightly sank upon hearing this. This Cao clan was quite overbearing. They might say that they want to marry Xinlan, but it was likely their intentions were the Yi clan, whereas old Mr. Yao he is already present in the front yard, standing guard and preventing the Cao clan from using force. The grey-robed old man appeared to be quite old. His face was filled with heavy wrinkles, and he appeared to be near the end of his life. However, by being able to stand right at the front, one did not even need to use one's head to know that the status of this person was definitely extraordinary. Moreover, anyone with even a little potential would be able to discover a dangerous aura radiating from him despite it not appearing as majestic as the two red-robed old men. This aura was something the two red-robed old men could not compare with. The man wearing a purple-colored alchemist robes was young and handsome. However, there was a haughtiness that was difficult to hide under his handsome appearance. Of course, just by looking at the badge on his chest, no one would comment on his arrogance, because he had the qualification to be this haughty. The badge was pale blue in color, and it vaguely appeared as though it was being burned by fire. The interior of the flame was a tower figure. 7 bright, purple gold stars were shining around the tower, causing it to appear extremely glaring. Tier 7 Alchemist. Moreover, it was an alchemist badge that was issued by the Pill Tower. This young man, who appeared to be less than 30 years old, was actually a Tier 7 alchemist. Young Master Cao Dan, my Yi clan is indeed at fault for revoking the agreement back then. However, the Cao clan did not protest even a little before this, yet it has shown up with a fanfare now. May I know what you mean by this? Yi Zhong solemnly demanded. His expression was a little ugly as he studied this group of people, who had come with ill intent. Elder Yi Zhong must be joking. How can such a big event like marriage be treated as child's play? Your Yi clan took the initiative to mention it back then. How will you let my Cao clan account to the outside world now that you have suddenly retracted it? The young man wearing the purple-colored alchemist's robes faintly smiled. His hand was gently clenched and a wisp of flame jumped over the tip of his finger. He immediately glanced at Yi Zhong. Could it be that Elder Yi Zhong is purposefully playing with the Cao clan? Yi Zhong's expression changed upon hearing this. Cao Dan, you better not try to twist your words to make up for your fallacious argument. Everyone knows of your Cao clan's wild ambition in wanting to swallow my Yi clan. You don't need to use such a matter as an excuse. The green-faced Xinlan could not endure Cao Dan's overbearing manner, resulting in furiously crying out. The young man smiled at the pretty, green face of Xinlan. He said, Xinlan, no matter how you put it, I am still considered your fiancé. It is really a little too unruly of you to scream at me. I will teach you some proper manners once you enter the Cao clan in the future. An elderly figure suddenly appeared in front of Yi Zhong's group when the aura of the grey-clothed old man erupted. His foot stomped on the ground as an invisible ripple spread out from his foot in a lightning-like manner. At the same time, another vast and mighty aura spread, blocking the terrifying aura of the grey-clothed old man. Although the Cao clan is powerful, it really doesn't have the demeanor of a large clan by bullying others in this manner with its strength. The one who had suddenly appeared was naturally Tian Huazunja. His eyes were locked onto the grey-clothed old man as he faintly chastised Dozun. The sudden appearance of Tian Huazunja had caused the grey-clothed old man to be slightly startled. He immediately narrowed his eyes. Senior, this junior is Cao Dan. The matter today is something between my Cao clan and the Yi clan. I hope that Senior will not intervene. If you have any matter regarding pill refinement in the future, you might perhaps be able to find my Cao clan. Cao Dan also slightly frowned before immediately cupping his hands together and speaking in a deep voice. He did not show any fear like an ordinary person would when facing a Dozun. With the great strength of the Cao clan, it did not lack some elite Dozuns who wanted to ask the elders of the clan to refine pills for them. Due to him having seen many of them, he no longer felt afraid refining pills. Tian Huazunja merely smiled when he heard this. He faintly replied, that is not necessary. The old me naturally has a more suitable person to look for if I wish to refine a pill. Moreover, I have been tasked by him to guard the Yi clan. How can the old me not intervene? Cao Dan's expression slightly changed when he understood that Tian Huazunja did not give him any face. He immediately warned in a solemn voice, today's matter is an order by the head of the clan. That person must leave with us. No one can stop us. Otherwise, that person will be an enemy of my Cao clan. I was wondering why the Yi clan had suddenly become so firm. It has found quite a number of helpers. Cao Dan watched Xiao Yan and the little fairy doctor as they slowly walked over. The corner of his mouth moved slightly as he spoke with a cold laugh. Xiao Yang looked at this man in front of him, who appeared quite young. His eyes paused for a moment on the badge on his chest, and some surprise flashed across them. This Cao clan was indeed worthy of being an alchemist family. The younger generation that it had groomed was actually this strong. It was the first time in all these years that Xiao Yang had seen such a young Tier 7 alchemist. Of course, Xiao Yang did not feel surprised that the other party was able to gain such an achievement. The continent was very vast, and there would definitely be some pill refining geniuses. This, along with the grooming of an alchemist family like the Cao clan from a young age, their achievements would naturally be far from what an ordinary alchemist could compare with. If I remember correctly, you should be called Xiao Yang, right? This person is the woeful poison lady who stirred a great commotion within the pill region. Cao Dan's eyes lingered over Xiao Yang and the little fairy doctor, before speaking with a faint smile. Xiao Yang stopped beside Tian Huazunja. He smiled and softly said, "The style of the Cao clan is indeed quite grand, Mr. Xiao Yang. This person is called Cao Dan. He is known as a pill refinement genius that comes once in 100 years within the Cao clan. Despite his young age, he has already reached the level of a Tier 7 alchemist. He is also quite well known in this pill region," Yi Zhong softly explained who he was to Xiao Yang. Xiao Yang smiled and nodded. His eyes landed on Cao Dan and said, "Young Master Cao Dan, the matter between the Yi and Cao clan is just a small grudge. Why don't each of you take a step back?" A chill flashed across Cao Dan's eyes as he looked at Xiao Yang's smiling face. He faintly said, "Take a step back. How will my Cao clan account to the outside world?" Back then, my Cao clan had made a public announcement after the Yi clan came to talk about this marriage. If we fail to marry now, would the Cao clan not lose a great amount of face? Can this still be considered a small grudge? In that case, young Master Cao Dan is insisting on bringing her with you today. Xiao Yang slowly took a step forward and softly laughed. Cao Dan narrowed his eyes in the face of Xiao Yang's somewhat bullying demeanor. With his pill-refining talent, seldom would any member of the younger generation treat him like this during all these years. "Xiao Yang, I know that you are bold, but sometimes, you should be a little more rational. These people might not be able to bring Xinlan away, but the next time we come, I believe that just the 2 elite Dozuns behind you would be of little use. My Cao clan does possess this ability." With Cao Dan's pride, it was naturally impossible for him to submit to Xiao Yang. Therefore, he immediately and coldly laughed as he responded in a deep voice, "Offending the Cao clan for the Yi clan is really not worthwhile. If you are willing, my Cao clan will welcome you as a friend." Xiao Yang smiled and shook his head. He said, "Forget it, young Master Cao Dan. What you have said does not attract me. Please leave today. I will not hand Xinlan to you, Xiao Yang. You better know the situation." Cao Dan furiously cried out. His expression sank after being rejected by Xiao Yang in such a straightforward manner. Xiao Yang faintly smiled. Both of his hands were crossed in front of him as he studied Cao Dan. He did not show any signs of giving in. Cao Dan's expression became graver after being looked at by Xiao Yang in this manner. The grey-robed, old man's wrinkle-filled face was scrunched. Immediately, he took a slow step forward. "You will remain behind if you take another step forward. Just this 1-star Dozun's strength of yours does not have the qualification to behave atrociously here." The grey-robed, old man had just stepped forward when the white figure in front of him flashed. A clear, cold voice was transmitted into his ears. The grey-clothed, old man's expression changed slightly upon hearing her words. His eyes stared at the little fairy doctor in front of him and a fearful expression flashed across them. He could sense that the little fairy doctor was also an elite Dozun. Moreover, her level was likely even higher than his. The words of the little fairy doctor had just sounded when it appeared to have broken the tense swords-drawn atmosphere. All the people from the Cao clan, including the 2 red-robed old men, suddenly took a few steps forward. Majestic auras rippled over this place like a wave, forming a great pressure. Tian Huazunja let out a cold snort after seeing the 2 red-robed old man step forward. He also took a step forward and appeared on Xiao Yang's left side. A mighty aura surged out and suppressed the auras of nearly 100 people on the opposite side. Cuckoo, why? Is young Master Cao Dan planning to use force? However, just a 1-star Dozun alone does not appear to be able to suffice. Xiao Yang faintly smiled as he commented, "Xiao Yang, you should not be so pleased with yourself. Offending my Cao clan is not something fun." Even if we end up failing this time around, there will definitely be an even stronger lineup coming the next time around. What can you do at that time? A cold glint flashed across Xiao Dan's eyes when he spoke. He turned his eyes to Yi Zhong's group as he coldly laughed. At that time, this group would at the very most just leave. However, the Yi clan will likely become the target for the Xiao clan to vent its anger. It is likely that the Yi clan would be removed from the Pil region in the future. The expressions of Yi Zhong's group involuntarily changed upon hearing this. However, what other path did the Yi clan have at this moment? If they lost Xiao Yang, the Yi clan would completely decline. Moreover, if they abandoned Xiao Yang and complied with the marriage between the Xiao and Yi clan, it was likely that the Yi clan would also be removed very soon. Yi Zhong did not believe that the Xiao clan would genuinely help the Yi clan recover its former glory. The reason the Xiao clan was acting in this manner was merely to swallow the Yi clan and strengthen the Xiao clan. The grey-clothed old man nodded his head without any change in expression upon hearing this. However, he let out a sigh of relief within his heart. The cool eyes of the little fairy doctor had caused him to form goosebumps. It was not as though he had never heard of the reputation of the woeful poison body. However, it was indeed the first time that he had seen a woeful poison body that had reached the strength of the Dozun class. Just step back. After seeing the grey-clothed old man step back, Xiao Dan turned his body to those behind him and waved his hand. That group of people hurriedly pulled back and immediately created an empty space in the front yard. Mr. Xiao Yang, you really intend to compete in terms of playing with fire with him? Yi Zhong hesitated for a moment after seeing what was unfolding. Finally, he could not help but ask in a soft voice. Xiao Dan's reputation when it came to playing with fire was really incredible. Even though Xiao Yang was also a Tier 7 alchemist, it was a little risky if it was merely a competition in terms of fire manipulation. Xiao Yang tilted his head. It was naturally best that he could use a method that involved the least effort to get rid of this people. Since Mr. Xiao Yang insists, we'll do as you say. Yi Zhong could only bitterly smile and nod his head after seeing that he was unable to change Xiao Yang's mind. He immediately reminded, the faint black flame in Yi Zhong's hand is an extremely powerful beast flame. It is rumored that the Xiao clan spent a great amount of effort in order to obtain it from the body of a rank 8 magical beast. Its strength is extremely great. Although it cannot be compared with a heavenly flame, an ordinary flame would have difficulty contending against it. Xiao Yang did not feel surprised upon hearing this. He had already sensed that the faint black flame was quite strong when it had appeared. Yi Zhong waved his hand after reminding Xiao Yang. Everyone slowly pulled back and left a spacious area for the two of them. The smile on Xiao Dan's face became denser when everyone withdrew. He slowly took a step forward and flicked his finger. The faint black-colored flame on his hand immediately surged. It wiggled above his head and formed a faint black, large eagle. The flame appeared strange as it burned due to its dark and dense appearance. This flame of mine is called the Dark Demon Flame. It was obtained from the body of the Dark Sky Three-Headed Lion, a rank 8 magical beast. This green-colored flame was naturally the Green Lotus Core Flame. If it came to playing with fire, Xiao Yang was more familiar with manipulating the Green Lotus Core Flame. The temperature slowly rose after the green-colored fire wolf appeared. The eyes of Xiao Dan abruptly shrank. His eyes greedily glanced at the fire wolf. It is indeed a heavenly flame. The rumors are true. This brat possesses a heavenly flame. However, one cannot merely rely on the strength of a flame when playing with fire. Possessing a heavenly flame does not mean he can win. Xiao Dan licked his lips as he coldly laughed in his heart. His finger suddenly pointed at the fire wolf over Xiao Yang's head. Immediately, the black fire eagle emitted a loud eagle cry as it glided over the sky. After which, it emitted a swoosh sound as it cut through the air and rushed toward the fire wolf with lightning-like speed. Howl. The green-colored wolf merely let out a long howl in the face of the fire eagle's attack. After which, its back shook and a pair of fire wings extended from it. The wings were flapped as it widened its ferocious mouth and violently collided with the fire eagle. Flames shot in all directions as the two ruthlessly pounced on each other, biting at the other party in an uncontrolled manner. The flames over their bodies were eroding the other party without due care for their lives. Everyone below was a little amazed as they looked at the wild snapping of the two fire beasts. They had seen fights between Do Chi, but a fight between flames was rarely seen. The two fire beasts wildly bit at each other in the sky, but they were also unusually agile. They flipped their bodies and leaped all around. An ordinary expert would not be able to catch them. Everyone clearly understood that this was due to their control over their flames. If it was someone with weaker skill, there was no need to even discuss forming a fire beast and fighting with another. It was likely that just maintaining the form of the beast would have exhausted all of their spiritual strength. Wisps of flames continued to drift from the sky as the two fire beasts fought each other. After which, they slowly scattered. Xiao Yan placed both of his hands behind him. His eyes focused on the fight in the sky. All it took was a thought of his to control the fire beast. This kind of fight was a contention between the strength of their spiritual strength. Compared with Xiao Yang's free and easy attitude, Cao Dan's face appeared a little more solemn. During the first exchange between the fire beasts, he had come to an understanding that he had met with a tough opponent this time around. The other party's control of the fire beast and the degree of reality of the fire beast were not inferior. If this continues, the dark sky demon flame will not be able to hold out against the heavenly flame. Cao Dan frowned when he saw the fire wolf, created from a heavenly flame, was this strong. A ruthless expression flashed across his eyes. He waved his hands and two more jade bottles appeared in front of him. Their caps were opened. A grey and a purple flame soared out of the bottles. Even Yi Zhong's expression on the Yi clan's side had turned a little pale when he saw the two clusters of flames appearing. He did not expect Cao Dan to reach a stage where he could control 4 types of flames at the same time. This was something that even he had to admit that he was unable to achieve playing fire with me. If you weren't relying on the heavenly flame, you would not even be able to last one exchange against me. Cao Dan coldly laughed. Another 2 drops of blood entered the 2 clusters of flames. Immediately, the 2 clusters of flames transformed into fire beasts that charged forward. After which, they surrounded the green-colored fire wolf. Under the attacks of the 4 fire beasts from all directions, even the fire wolf, formed from a heavenly flame, was unable to endure. By controlling 4 types of flames, their combined attack was indeed very strong. However, it was obvious that this was the limit of Cao Dan. One could tell this from the pale whiteness on his face. Xiao Yang, playing with fire does not merely rely on quality. Quantity is also very important. You should remember this in your heart when you compete with others in the future. The smile on Cao Dan's face became richer as he watched the fire wolf being defeated. His eyes swung to Xiao Yang as he involuntarily laughed in a somewhat pleased tone. Xiao Yang faintly glanced at him. Immediately, he laughed. Thank you for your reminder, young master Cao Dan. Since this is the case, I shall win with quantity. After uttering such instigating words, Xiao Yang flicked his finger. 10 jade bottles appeared. After which, a boom sounded, and they burst apart. After the 10 jade bottles broke, 10 clusters of flames of various lusters slowly rose in front of numerous stunned eyes. After which, they wiggled for a moment before transforming into 10 ferocious fire beasts. These flames were all beasts' flames. They were nourishment that Xiao Yang had obtained for the life-transforming flame. However, now that he possessed the core bead, the beast's flames had lost their purpose. It was unexpected that he was able to use them now. Xiao Yang's eyes alighted upon Cao Dan's face, which had turned dull almost instantly. The corner of his mouth contained ridicule. You can only control 4 types of flames, yet you dare to come out and compete with others in terms of flame manipulation. 10 clusters of different colored flames transformed into ferocious fire beasts that slowly rose into the sky. Various colored glows landed on the stunned expressions of everyone below as they did so, causing the scene to appear exceptionally comical. The 10 types of flames along with the earlier green lotus core flame formed a total of 11 flames. Xiao Yang was able to control 11 flames with his own strength. The courtyard was silent as everyone watched this shocking scene. It was a moment later before some noises from the inhalation of cold air slowly appeared. Each time one controlled an additional flame, it would impose a harsh toll on one's spiritual strength. With Cao Dan's ability, he was at the most able to control 4 types of flames. Moreover, this had already allowed him to reach the point where he could hardly find any opponent within the Cao clan, yet the current Xiao Yang allowed him to understand what was meant by there was always someone better out there. 11 types of flames. Even if Cao Dan were to use all of his spiritual strength, it was likely that he would be unable to completely control them, much less transforming them into beast forms to fight with others. Fierce flames rose into the air. The high temperature that spread down caused Cao Dan's mouth to dry. His already somewhat pale face became even paler. Xiao Yang's ability was a very big blow to him. How is it possible? Cao Dan softly muttered in his mouth. His eyes were filled with disbelief. Xiao Yang appeared much younger than him. How was it possible for him to control 11 types of flames? This level was something that even his sister, who was regarded as a witch in his clan, was unable to do. Impossible. Cao Dan's eyes had become much redder after he muttered that word. He appeared just like a gambling addict about to lose all of his fortune. He let out a furious roar as a thought passed through his heart. The 4 fire beasts in the sky emitted low, deep roars as they charged at Xiao Yang's multicolored fire beasts. Xiao Yang watched Cao Dan, who was going all out, with an indifferent expression. The corner of his mouth was lifted into a cold smile. He randomly waved his sleeves and the 11 fire beasts in the sky appeared like ferocious tigers descending from a mountain, as they collided with Xiao Dan's 4 fire beasts. After which, they began to tear and bite at each other in a crazy manner. Clusters of flames continued to scatter. Xiao Dan's 4 fire beasts descended into an outnumbered situation in the face of Xiao Yang's terrifying numbers. They did not endure for long before the flames on their bodies were gradually torn apart. After which, they slowly disappeared one after another in front of the many eyes in the front yard. Young Master Xiao Dan, please leave. Xiao Yang withdrew the green lotus core flame. His expression was much better when compared to Xiao Dan. He had practiced the flame creation skill, and was extremely familiar with flame manipulation. Moreover, the strength of his spiritual strength was far from what the likes of Xiao Dan could compare with. Xiao Dan's expression became much uglier when he heard his command. He had lost to Xiao Yang in front of so many people. Moreover, he had lost in flame manipulation, his specialization. This was undoubtedly equivalent to giving him a ruthless slap. All right, no wonder Yizhong would place his hopes on you. You do indeed possess some skill. I have underestimated you. Xiao Dan inhaled a couple of breaths of deep air. He suppressed the fury that arose from embarrassment, rising in his heart as he spoke in a dark voice. Xiao Yang faintly smiled. Xiao Dan might say that he was a tier 7 alchemist, but from the way Xiao Yang saw it, Xiao Dan would, at the very most, be at the low-grade 7th tier. He could not be considered a great opponent. It would not be troublesome if Xiao Yang were to meet him at the pill gathering in the future. I have lost today. Rest assured that I will keep my word. My Xiao clan will not come and find trouble for a period of time. Xiao Dan's dark and ferocious eyes suddenly turned to Yizhong's group after he spoke. He then continued in a dense, cold manner, however, it is merely the ravings of a lunatic if your Yi clan wishes to regain an elder's seat. My Xiao clan will be unwilling to see such a thing occurring. There is still less than a month before the test begins. I want to see whether your Yi clan can rely on him to squeeze into the top 3 spots. Yizhong's expression slightly changed. He coldly said, there is no need for you to worry about this matter on behalf of the Yi clan. Xiao Dan frostily smiled. His gaze immediately swung to Xiao Yang as he said, Xiao Yang, you are indeed very strong. However, I believe sooner or later, you will end up regretting offending the Xiao clan. Have you finished saying all that you need to? If you have, please. Xiao Yang crossed his fingers and faintly commanded without giving Xiao Dan an additional look. Xiao Dan was filled with fury because of Xiao Yang's indifferent attitude. If 2 elite Dozans were not backing Xiao Yang up, it was likely that he would be unable to control himself and get Kui Zunja to attack, giving this hateful fellow a vicious lesson. Big brother Xiao Yang, thank you. Xin Lan sighed in relief in her heart. Her pretty eyes looked at Xiao Yang as she spoke with some joy. Xiao Yang waved his hand and said, since I have promised you, I will protect the Yi clan. At the very least, until I have fulfilled my promise. Part 1 end here.